astral body is a tool of the self to perceive other frequency realities. Astral body is one more form of our consciousness, just like our physical body. In normal condition, our consciousness is spread throughout our physical body. When we receive sufficient amount of energy and when we feel to perceive other frequency realities, consciousness moves in the form of astral body. We perceive astral body experiences unconsciously in our sleep, which we call dreams. One can perceive astral body experiences consciously in meditation. Astral body travels beyond space and time. After conscious astral experiences, we start perceiving new dimensions. In meditation, after receiving abundant cosmic energy, the consciousness which is spread everywhere in the body starts moving towards a point. While consciousness is moving, we experience jerks in the physical body. We feel as if our body is floating. We don't feel the hands and legs. We feel lightness of the body, like a feather. Movements may be experienced in different parts of the body, or sometimes one may experience as if the whole body is rotating. These are known as astral movements. By practicing more and more meditation, we get more cosmic energy. The consciousness takes the form like an astral body, starts rotating very fast, which causes heavy movements. After the movements, the astral body starts coming out of the physical body with a link called silver cord. Silver cord is nothing but a high vibrant consciousness which transfers the messages of the physical body to the astral body and vice versa. With this we do astral travel. Astral travel is a travel of our consciousness to known and unknown places and frequencies. By doing astral travel, we get highest knowledge and understanding of the self. In astral travel, our astral body can pass through all physical materials. All elements like earth, water, fire, wind and ether. Astral body can go to all other frequencies without any limitations. After coming out of the body, the meditator sees his own physical body. By this he gets a great understanding.
When one astral projects or astral travels, what is it that you are projecting out of the body? Well, first, let me tell you about your two main bodies. You have the physical body, which you've become quite familiar with through your entire life. And then there's your astral or etheric body. When you astral project, it is your astral body that gets projected. You see, for each plane there is, you have a specific body for it. So for the physical plane, you have your physical body, and for the astral plane, you have your astral body. What is the easiest and fastest method of astral projection that works for everyone? Well, not everyone can wear the same clothes because we all have different bodies. It's the same way with astral projection. We're all different. So there isn't just one method for everyone. There are actually hundreds of astral projection techniques available. How often can you astral project? You can project as many times as you wish, but remember, you need to maintain a balance between the astral plane and the physical plane. My dreams are so vivid. Is this astral projection? When your dreams are extremely vivid, you're either lucid dreaming or astral projecting. Or, if it was an astral projection, you may have lost consciousness somewhere during the process and slipped into a dream. Can two people in a room astral project at the same time and meet up in the astral realms? Yes, you can astral project together. You can see each other, you can communicate, and share an astral experience together. During one of my astral projection sessions, I felt as if my entire body was being electrocuted. I totally freaked out. What was that? Well, you have reached the vibrational stage, and the feelings of electricity are feelings of the symptoms of successfully astral projecting. The next time this happens, stay calm and observe what is happening objectively without freaking out. Once you do this, you will successfully astral project. So try again, and the next time you reach that stage, don't panic. Just know that you are very close to success. I often get intense vibrations throughout my body, but I can't go beyond that point. What can I do? Well, if you reach the vibrational stage, the hard part is done. You just need to exercise strong willpower and visualize yourself floating upward. If you feel you have a fear that is preventing you, check out my previous answers on how to overcome fear. Once you overcome whatever fears you have, you're just one step away from a successful, conscious astral projection experience. How do I enter the vibrational stage? Before getting into the vibrational stage, you need to relax your body completely. Once you relax completely and reach the stage of sleep paralysis, you will then begin to vibrate and then astral project. All it takes to get back in your body is a thought, but I often find myself in a paralyzed state. This lasts many minutes and makes me incredibly nervous. What is this feeling? Well, yes, getting back into your body is just a thought away. If you feel paralyzed, that means you're already back in your body. This is a common occurrence and a very healthy one. So just relax, and there's no need to panic. I get vibrations, but I've also read about buzzing sounds, and I never get those in my ears. Why is that? Not all people hear the buzzing sounds. Individuals, just like experiences, are unique, so don't worry. What is astral paralysis? Astral paralysis, or astral catalepsy, occurs either before the astral body is about to leave the physical body or just after it returns to your body. During this state, you might feel that your physical body is in a state of paralysis or that you're unable to move. This happens to many people and is natural. If this happens before projection, then you are very close to a successful astral session. If it happens after projection, just wait for a few minutes and it will go away. What are the Akashic Records? And do I access them? The Akashic Records are the huge etheric library that contain all the records of every thought, word, and action since the beginning of time. The library also contains records of lives lived, lessons learned, and even future lives. Psychics can peek into the astral records, and so can you. All you have to do is work on developing your psychic abilities, and with astral projection, you're already on your way. What is the silver cord? It's an energy cord that connects the physical body to the astral body. Your two bodies communicate with each other through this silver cord. Don't worry about your silver cord being severed while astral projecting. It breaks only when you die. Is there a trigger to leave the physical body? If so, where is it located? No one really knows exactly where it is. Because it's different for everyone. We have 7 major energy chakras in our spiritual body: the base of the spine, the navel, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown, or the top of the head. And the trigger lies in your most active chakras. Of course, this will differ from person to person. What can I do about my mental block, which tells me that I can only perceive through my physical senses? Well, from the moment you were born, you perceived and gained knowledge about everything through the physical senses only. So it can be hard to believe that you have other senses too. But once you're out of your physical body, you'll realize that you can perceive your surroundings without the physical senses that you once relied so heavily on. You'll also notice that your new set of senses is much more enhanced and more powerful than your old set, the physical set. Are we able to smell, see in color, hear, feel warmth and cold, etc. while astral projecting? No, because we don't use the physical senses. If we do feel hot or cold, it's because our physical bodies are feeling hot or cold, and that feeling is transferred to the astral body by the silver cord. How can I astral travel at will? Well, there are several steps. First, you need to learn how to get rid of your fears. Then you need to become familiar with the astral environment and learn how to control your thoughts. This takes a lot of personal mastery. Once I've left my body, how do I stay outside of it? The first few times you project, staying out of your body won't be very easy. And this is due to the fact that the attraction between the physical body and the astral body is very powerful. Therefore, your astral body will want to jump back into your physical body, is to be very alert and conscious and exercise a strong willpower while you are projecting. How do I acquire talents in the astral plane and carry them to the physical plane? You will carry your experiences and knowledge you acquire in the astral plane to your physical world almost automatically. There's no need to put forth any special effort to remember acquired talents or forcibly keep them on the astral plane. Can I have 100% control of where I astral project, or will I go to unknown places independent of my will? You can control your astral projection, but it takes practice. At the beginning, you might find yourself unable to control where you go, or the speed with which you travel. You might travel too quickly and find yourself in outer space. But wherever you go, you will always be able to get back to your physical body by just thinking about it. But don't worry, with practice you'll be able to move according. Do other astral entities exist? Are they dangerous and can they hurt me? They do exist, but they can't hurt you unless you allow them to scare you. Remember, you can always surround yourself with a protective shield of electric white light. When you do this, the negative astral entities will immediately flee. Are there any physical risks during astral projection? There are no physical risks involved with astral projection. Your physical body will be perfectly relaxed and sleeping while your astral body will be exploring and learning. Even if you have a weak heart or other ailments, you can still astral project safely. Do I need to meditate? And if so, for how long should I meditate before I enter that special frame of mind to successfully astral project? Yes, you should meditate. There isn't a specific length of time, but you should meditate until you're in a state in which your mind is relaxed and completely clear of unwanted mental chatter. When you're at this level, you will have control over your thoughts and you'll be able to focus on astral projection much more easily. How do I avoid bad astral entities? Well, the way you do this is to avoid thinking about them and avoid being afraid of them. They are mindless creatures and won't hurt you unless you allow them to. Can the bad entities sever the silver cord? No, they can't. If that were true, there would be many cases of death during sleep, because often when we sleep, we astral project unconsciously. Just remember, you are in full control of your body and your silver cord. Nobody can harm you or touch you against your will.
Now that you're sitting comfortably, I shall begin.
How long did it take you to learn how to do it?
It took me about 6 months before I was at the point where I could start doing Solomon's magic with a goetic mirror.
And it's a form of worship?
Yes, it is. It's my way of worshiping God.
We see the pagan gods and goddesses as personifications of forces of nature. And so we have a whole plethora of entities, and even down into the elements, where we have the gnomes and the earth, and we have the sylphs in the air, and we have the undines in the water, and then we have the salamanders in the fire. So we personify all of the elements and everything. We have a little entity of some kind or another, or a big entity for everything. Solomonic ceremonial magic basically can be broken down into two divisions. The invocation of the angels, the holy angels, to protect you and inspire you and fill you with the power of God, and then when you've got that mastered, then you set up the dark mirror and the triangle, and then you go for what some people would refer to as the demons. But you use that angelic power that you've already acquired through the crystal ball in the center of the circle and on the altar, and you've got the power of those angels to control the demons that you evoke. You evoke them out of your deep mind. And so Solomonic magic, all the way from back in the Middle Ages, can be broken down into those two facets.
Tell me the procedure we're going to go through tonight, just what you're going to do, what we're going to see.
What you're going to see is the evocation stage of Solomon's magic. This is the advanced stage after you have gone through the series of angelic invocations, which we're not going to specifically do tonight. They've already been done. We've got the angels already inside us and on our side, but we are going to invoke those angels with a pentagram ritual. Mike's going to do that, Father Solomon. He's going to invoke the angels with a pentagram ritual. Then I'm going to open up the psychic centers, because we are, as far as I know, we are the only lodge in the West that has a full operating system of chakras. We have all the planets and the spheres of the Kabbalistic tree of life right in one straight line. So we operate that way. So we're going to have a ritual after Mike does his pentagram ritual and establishes these four angels that we're talking about and gets them to protect us and cast the circle. Then I'm going to open up the particular sphere that we're working in, the lunar sphere. Then from there we're going to go on up to the sphere of Jupiter. And then we're going to circumambulate around the circle, the magic circle, clockwise, sunwise. And then we're going to get on that mirror, and Mike is going to be staring into the mirror, and I'm going to sit behind him as the magus, and I'm going to conjure, and he will go into a trance. We'll both be in a trance, actually.
Before I'll ever do an operation, I usually know what spirit I'm going to do, and my mindset will already begin to be geared towards that spirit, and I'll already be interacting with the energies of that spirit. And then by the time I do the operation, the spiritual energies from that spirit will actually come inside of me, to the point that I'll be able to look in that mirror, and my reflection will actually morph into the spirit that I'm having a conversation with.
His reflection blanks out, and as I'm conjuring, then what comes back in is going to be the spirit.
What does it feel like? Are you aware of what's happening, or are you in a total trance? Can you remember what's happened?
I am aware of what is happening, but there is somewhat of a transformation that does occur. So what's inside of me isn't really what's me speaking. It's these ideas that are pouring through me from a foreign energy. And these foreign energies will begin to express themselves in their own unique ways that I'll eventually realize are not my own thoughts.
When we videotaped the actual summoning of the spirit in the temple, there were no rehearsals and no retakes. So what you're about to see is real, shown exactly as it happened. And in my professional opinion, it's one of the most remarkable documentations of a supernatural event ever recorded.
It lies in the Book of Spells.
name of Raphael, Lord of the air, master of the twice-forged sword, let there be light in the east. Name of Gabriel, Lady of the waters, mistress of the holy Ghost. Name of perfect, Maximus, Maid, here.
Vidar sits in silence. Satan fights with violence. What is hanging by a thread is saved when the snake is shed.
is based on a ritualistic mystical system that's been employed by the Temple of the Four Orders for centuries.
After more meditation, we start seeing the Master like a bright light. Even by seeing the bright light, we feel the identity of the Master. We can hear the messages from the Masters. We feel like moving in a tunnel and finally merging with the light.
What about the fourth dimension? Now, to approach that, let's consider a cube. We can imagine a cube in the following way. You take a line segment and move it at right angles to itself in equal length. That makes a square. Move that square in equal length at right angles to itself, and you have a cube. Now, this cube, we understand, casts a shadow. And that shadow we recognize. It's, ordinarily drawn in third grade classrooms as two squares with their vertices connected. Now, if we look at the shadow of a three-dimensional object in two dimensions, we see that, in this case, not all the lines appear equal. Not all the angles are right angles. The three-dimensional object has not been perfectly represented in its projection in two dimensions, but that's part of the cost of losing a dimension in the projection. Now, let's take this three-dimensional cube and project it, carry it through a fourth physical dimension. Not that way, not that way, not that way, but at right angles to those three directions. I can't show you what direction that is, but imagine that there is a fourth physical dimension. In that case, we would generate a four-dimensional hypercube, which is also called a tesseract. I cannot show you a tesseract because I and you are trapped in three dimensions. But what I can show you is the shadow in three dimensions of a four-dimensional hypercube or tesseract. This is it. And you can see it's two nested cubes, all the vertices connected by lines. And now the real tesseract in four dimensions would have all the lines of equal length and all the angles right angles. That's not what we see here, but that's the penalty of projection. So you see, while we cannot imagine the world of four dimensions, we can certainly think about it perfectly well.
In the 1940s, an Austrian immigrant to America and refugee from Nazi Germany, Dr. Wilhelm Reich, made the scientific discovery of a previously unknown energy existing in the atmosphere, in space, and within living organisms. Discovered accidentally, Dr. Reich eventually demonstrated this blue glowing energy to charge up and radiate from microorganisms, plants, animals, and humans. This energy also existed in a free form within the open atmosphere and in high vacuum. He called this energy the orgone. Orgone energy, as Dr. Reich discovered, was synonymous with life energy, long postulated by scientists and accepted as fact by ordinary people from around the world. orgone energy could be gathered in its free form directly from the atmosphere using a device he later called the orgone energy accumulator. A simple enclosure resembling a large hollow capacitor, composed of alternating layers of special insulators and conductors, the orgone accumulator allowed a high charge of the orgone to collect inside itself, facilitating its direct study and revealing many of its properties. Dr. Reich observed the orgone energy charge in the human biosystem was expressed in emotion and sexuality and could be measured bioelectrically. A person's overall vitality and aliveness was a function of human and atmospheric orgone charge and pulsation, and this could often be increased by sitting inside the orgone accumulator. Orgone charge of the tissues was a fundamental component of the immune system, as revealed in the bioelectric charging of red blood cells. The orgone accumulator was found to boost the immune system of people who sat inside them for periods of approximately 30 minutes a day over many days, and to thereby promote health and reduce the symptoms of some diseases. So incredible were the healing effects of the orgone accumulator that Dr. Theodor Wolff, a pioneer in psychosomatic medicine and associate of Dr. Reich, called the orgone accumulator the most important discovery in the history of medicine, bar none. Another German physician has stated, "Failure to use the orgone accumulator in the treatment of severe burns constitutes medical malpractice." Dr. Reich observed the orgone energy had a blue color, and he reasoned the Earth was surrounded by an envelope of blue glowing orgone energy. He observed the streaming of protoplasm in the cells, and movements of smooth muscle tissue bore a resemblance and functional similarity to the movements of streaming cloud patterns and to the illuminating an animal-like aurora phenomenon. This was years before high-altitude aircraft discovered the atmospheric jet streams, and more than a decade before the astronauts returned color photos of the Earth's blue-glowing atmosphere. Dr. Reich reasoned that both the hurricanes and galaxies were created and put into motion by superimposing streams of orgone energy in a cosmic dance similar to the sexual attraction between male and female. He demonstrated the existence of orgone energy in deep vacuum tubes, which also glowed blue when charged up inside orgone energy accumulators. The orgone energy filled all space, he argued, satisfying many of the descriptions of the older cosmological ether of space, or what modern astronomy confusedly calls dark matter, and which is identified as an anomalous blue-glowing halo surrounding galaxies. Even more controversial, Dr. Reich developed a method to run small motors with the orgone energy. He also developed orgone energy devices for affecting the atmospheric orgone and clouds to bring rains during droughts or even into large deserts. Dr. Reich demonstrated this same life energy or orgone energy in a number of carefully controlled experiments, too much to report in this short video, which allow us to make these short summary statements with reasonable scientific certainty. His publications on these subjects presented very positive results from his experimental work, but this only added to the hysterical outrage of his critics. They slandered his early research on human sexuality, called the orgone accumulator a sex box, and subjected Dr. Reich and his associates to character assassination and slander. Dr. Reich's work and ideas were chronically misrepresented in popular newspaper and magazine smear articles. Fraudulent information and outright lies, and without investigating his work in any serious manner, the medical establishment encouraged the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to seek and obtain a court injunction to stop Dr. Reich's research, writing, and speaking about his discovery. In a legal case which has far greater significance to American freedoms and the U.S. Constitution than the better-known Scopes monkey trial, Dr. Reich was finally charged with contempt of court for the technical violation of an obscure cosmetic labeling law. He and an associate, Dr. Michael Silvert, were sent to prison, and Dr. Reich's books and research journals were ordered banned from interstate commerce, and existing copies were burned in New York City incinerators. Dr. Reich died in prison in 1957, while Dr. Silvert committed suicide shortly after his release. Victims of a left-wing smear campaign merged with organized big medicine and pharmaceutical interests. Fortunately, most of Dr. Reich's books survived and were republished.